Yo.
Okay. Welcome to No Nonsense Hip Hop. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to introduce Dilemma on our intro. If you guys like him, you can find him on all social media platforms. It's Dilemma, capital D, period, capital I, period, capital L, period, capital E, period, capital M, period, capital A, period. And that song is called Rare Breed, and that's on his Lost mixtapes. Check him out. He's dope. Okay, so today's episode, we're discussing YouTube, the industry, and if we feel if YouTube could change the algorithm, YouTube Reactors, if they could change the algorithm of YouTube and get more people to listen to lyrical hip hop artists as opposed to a lot of the stuff they react to. And if they did, would that change the algorithm of YouTube and help get more people to search out these artists as opposed to artists that they're reacting to like BTS, Blackpink, and they're all kind of reacting to the same thing? Does that contribute to the algorithm, and is that affecting the industry as a whole? For you guys,
I mean, the short answer is obviously yes, but it's a lot more complicated than that, in my personal opinion, because numbers always speak way louder than what should be.
Right, but if they were to change, like, okay, so a reactor told me, I'm not going to mention his name, but you know who you are, buddy. Said hip hop does not give me views. And
he's not wrong.
Well, see, there's a reactor named Stevie Knight who doubled his subs and the views of his videos by only reacting to hip hop. He gained more subs reacting to what he reacts to. And it's also his personality too. I mean, he's a shit talker.
Right, that's the thing. There's way more that goes into it than just hip hop. The person presenting it matters, and how they present it, of course. But a lot of people aren't creative in that department. And even if they are, getting the attention on the lyricism side is a lot harder because we live in a society that just doesn't want to think.
Well, but I'm saying if they chose to react to it, would it change the algorithm of YouTube? Because the algorithm,
once you can get the numbers behind it, I think it could.
But that's the thing though, the algorithm kind of dictates what they react to because they go by what the algorithm's putting out. So if they didn't choose to react to what the algorithm is saying and went on their own, like some of these reactors do, could it then change YouTube's algorithm?
I mean, I think some of it is what do these channels want to be, and who are they? And are they after getting to the million subscribers? Are they after getting the hundreds of thousands of views? Because you can see it if you look at the different views that one of the big artists is going to get, and you can see if you look at Stevie Knight or Scriptwork or some of these others, and they react to Crook or John Connor or something, you can see the difference in views, and people aren't going to it. Right. But I think it is identifying, I guess, those channels that are doing it because they love hip hop, because they actually want to support this, and I think we know who they are, and them, I think just getting their passion for it across and all that. But unfortunately, we do have countless channels which don't even do breakdowns. Some of them, it is literally they're 7-minute videos. They're just listening to stuff. They will do whatever's big, whatever's popping, and I don't know how you change that, because those videos are getting hundreds of thousands of views.
Right, but even though they're only like me, I do reviews. I'll review some old school. My channel, I was looking at my views today, and I found Rakim's video I posted got over 5,000 views. And then
probably by a lot of us old heads.
Well, wait, that's 5,000. And then I'm looking at the other stuff I reacted to that don't even have that, not even close. I think the next high is Hunted Koofies when he dissed Lucy, that's not his name.
And that's
You know what I'm talking about.
Lucid or
When
whatever
he
it was. Yeah.
dissed him with the hip hop hit him up beat, that one got more views than the diss before he did.
But that was on some drama stuff, right?
But my question is, could they in fact change the algorithm of YouTube? Okay, because a lot of these artists, these reactors, a few of them are hip hop artists. And they'll react to Tekashi and talk shit about him and talk about the industry, and here they are reacting to it, going with the algorithm because that's going to get views. So if they were to not do that and go into the opposite way against YouTube and did their own thing, the fans that they got that are loyal are going to stay loyal. They will be like, oh yeah. So here's my thing. Their loyal fans, could they turn them into wanting to hear that lyrical hip hop? Since they're more than just fans of their music, they're friends, they're on their lives, they communicate, their live streams, they're communicating with these artists and reactors, they're communicating with them online. I'm assuming that they would stay and still fuck with the reactor and the artist. So could they change it?
Well, I have a question because I don't watch Reactors.
Right.
Do people go to Reactors for music or do they go for the reactions?
There's a couple reasons, and some of it is they want the positive shared experience of their favorite artist, and then you've got the like, you want the people that will help you understand it, right? There's several different reasons why people watch Reactors.
Right. So I guess it would depend on the difference whether they're breaking down bars or if they're just simply reacting.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but there's the other side where they literally feel like they're friends with the reactor, and they don't care what they react to.
But that's not where you start with. That's not where you start. That's not how you.
But my thing is, since they're already invested in that channel and they fuck with the content creator, could that content creator then switch his game up and put out lyrical content and these people still fuck with him?
I think there are a few. I think there are a few. I think there are a few bigger channels now that have, you know, a very big and very loyal audience. And if you see that the ones starting up are following that same route, basically, they're going that, oh, that made them successful. They now have, you know, 1 million subscribers or whatever. So they're kind of following that same path and going, oh, if I react to these artists, if I do this, if I do this. So I think that if
you're talking about like, sorry.
I just think if the bigger channels who have that loyal fan base did move that slightly, I think, you know, when you're watching them and you see the recommended videos come up, you know, it's like, oh, here's X channel reacting to Tekashi or whatever, and then you get all the other ones, you know, recommended. So I wonder if, I think they do have a certain power because they have such a big and loyal fan base, and a lot of them are crossovers as well.
They're basically A&Rs.
Yeah.
They're basically giving their fan base like, hey, check this one out. Right? I mean, because there are a lot of people, like, I didn't care about BTS, but they were all over the fucking YouTube series. Everyone was reacting to them at the same time. And they're doing it now with Easy Mill. Everyone's reacting to the same song in this set circle of reactors that I know behind the scenes and on internet. So they're basically giving their fans what to check out.
Sort of. I think it's a little more complicated. Like, there's a lot of nuance.
Really?
You're talking about monetized channels who still need to be able to feed their families with the content they put out, so they need the views. But then you've also got what their motivation is. Like, if it's about the music, generally, the more you focus on the music, the people that remain loyal to you will be there for the music, not the reactions, and vice versa. So some will cross over between both, like we do that. but not everyone's. There's a
Well,
lot of people
I
that are
don't-
only there for the reactions, or only there for their artists, not all reactions, or only there for like the actual content.
I've never crossed over to BTS. I can't stand them little turds.
No, I'm talking about the
No,
reactors.
Right.
crossing over between reaction and the
Right, like the
artist's
difference, like-
actual music.
Okay, but
Yeah.
check this out.
Do you
They-
listen to their music? Do you watch their reactions? Crossing over between that, not
Here's
to
the
BTS.
thing though, they go live and they make most of their income on their live dono request reactions. And all of them are doing it.
Yeah, but once again, it's like, why do you show up to live? Do you show up to live because of the artist, or do you show up to live because of the reactor? But either way, you're
That's
showing
my
up to
point.
live.
But what I'm like,
Here-
the motivation
okay.
behind your
Here's my
fan
point
base
though.
is what changes what you get.
Here's my point though. When we're in the live reaction, say with Blitz, right? I always request heavy hip hop, right? You guys know,
Mhm.
Yeah,
you could
which is your
tell.
right.
Right, you could tell which is my reaction. And then I pay attention to the people in the live chat and what they say. There are some that never heard of it and are like, oh shit, this is dope. There are some that have heard of it and they're like, oh, fuck yeah, he's dope, blah, blah, blah. So my thing is, and then I listen, there are people in the live chat when he plays some other music that aren't feeling it. Like I've had comments in there where like, yeah, if I want to listen, you know, but it's everyone's right to request what they want. I agree.
Right, absolutely.
So me paying attention to what the chat is saying on my request and on other requests, I'm saying if they decided to say, you know what, we're going to try and get this industry back. This industry that we as YouTube reactors who are hip hop artists complain about, but yet put this other shit on our channel. If we were to focus on hip hop, could we change it? Could we get people to pay attention to lyrical shit as opposed to Blackpink?
I mean, you're talking about totally two different generations.
Or as opposed to Tekashi, but not
Well,
really.
Well, you
here's
got
the thing.
preferential treatment in the algorithm too, right? Like not all the algorithm is natural. So there's that. So there's a lot of leeway. You can make some alterations, but they're still going to promote the stuff that you're not comfortable with. But we don't have to like everything. That's okay.
Right.
I think
That's
people
not-
need to let go of this idea that rappers and YouTubers and everybody in between needs to be one specific thing.
No, that's not the point I'm making. My point
I
is
know.
these artists that are reactors who are in fact hip hop artists, right?
I know. I
but
want to
wait,
hold the
wait,
people
wait.
listening accountable too, because they need
Right,
to start.
but here's my point.
Stop saying it's underrated and start promoting it as though that's the shit you should be listening to.
Right, but here's my point. These hip hop artists that are reacting are sitting here reacting to Tekashi, and in the same sentence
Yes.
as they react, are complaining about the industry. But they're
'Cause
contributing.
Right,
They're
that gets some
contributing.
views.
But that's
Right.
what I'm
I
saying.
know what
It
you're
gets
saying.
them views
But
though,
that-
and
I
so
know what
that
you're saying.
pays them.
But
it's
that's
all
my
of the
point, though. You can't
people
sit there.
that bring it to it.
You can't sit there and complain about the industry, you being
Right.
a hip hop artist, and then
be part
put
of the
this
problem.
shit
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
So-
get what you're saying.
So could they change it if they stopped caring about views and cared more about the industry they're trying to make it in and start reacting to other stuff? Could they change the algorithm? I kind of
Right.
think
And
they
the short
can.
answer
Alright,
is still
but-
yes, but the legwork is a lot bigger. Like I don't think you recognize the numbers you would need, and that you almost need a movement behind it.
Yeah, but some of these reactors have that. Look
It's
at
possible.
No Life Shack. He's got 2
No, I'm not saying it's
million.
not.
He's got over 2 million subs. He does Mumble
And how did he
Mondays.
get? And how did he get
He
2
got
million
there by
subs?
being
Huh.
one of the most consistent
UK
creators on the
and Eminem. UK rappers and Eminem got him up there.
He didn't do no
algorithm.
metal songs. He
Right.
didn't
Like,
do
it's
no
not
Easy
straight
Mill.
algorithm.
He didn't do a Takashi song.
But
He
now he,
didn't do the
does.
Eminem diss series.
But he
Yeah.
does now.
He did do that. What was that AR guy?
Yeah.
AR545.
He does
Oh,
mumble, but no.
I didn't even
he-
know that genre existed, so there's that.
He does Mumble Mondays. So he's
Mm.
kind of contributing where he could literally say, hey, it's
So
about
that
the
look,
bar.
so that
Wait,
works
it's
against you
about
to a
the
degree.
bars. It's
But it works against you
barology.
to a degree.
That's what he says. It's barology.
Sure, he
It's
says
about the
that,
bars.
but that doesn't help your point here.
It does in a way, because if he were to change and start really putting out the shit that
But you said he could do it because he has a big following, but he got a big following because he does a diverse portfolio of a bunch of stuff
He does
to
a bunch of rock too.
cast a
That's part of his
wide
base.
net to get
Right.
as many people to like be interested in him and to follow him as possible.
right.
And
So
he only has that base because he did a bunch of stuff
but
and has
they're
done a bunch of artists.
interested in him. They like him.
Now, but
So
they came to
now-
him but they came
Right.
to him because they were fans
But
of this music
now
that
I'm
you're talking
asking,
about.
but I'm asking now, if
But
he
he
decided,
can't. But he can't do
He
it now
could.
if he didn't do that
Maria,
before.
if you were
He
talking
can't
about
do
him
that now if
literally-
he didn't do it before.
if he
someone doesn't do
literally
some
switches up what
BTS
he does,
and
he'll
get some
lose a
BTS
huge portion.
audience,
what?
I'm saying
If he were,
if
no,
some,
go ahead.
go ahead, Ren.
If he were to lose, or like if he were to just switch up exactly like the content that he releases right now, everybody knows what it's going to be for the most part. Like he's very consistent.
Right.
If he were to switch that up into something that you were talking about, and all of a sudden he just started playing like say Freddie Gibbs and everything else, that's not what they're used to,
That's not what
and
I'm
so
saying.
a lot
though.
of them would leave.
But I'm not
It's
saying
not-
completely switch it up. I'm saying
Yes, you
he
are.
could, no, he could literally help out the hip hop community by doing
But he
more.
does
by
too.
doing
More.
just hip hop
No,
and lyrical stuff.
doing more.
I
hip-hop,
don't
more
agree.
lyrical.
I don't agree with
Okay, so
holding.
switching it up so it's 100% hip hop and lyrical, or
No,
switching up so it.
he-
Hold
he-
on. You gotta shut up and listen. 2 seconds sometimes.
Don't tell me to shut up, please. Be nice. I'll listen.
Yeah.
You
It's
don't have to tell me to
it's
shut
either
up.
switching. Fine. It's either switching to 100% or switching to 87.5% or switching to 65%. It's still switching up his content to do more lyrical stuff is what you're asking.
Here's
That is
my-
what you are asking.
Yeah, okay. So I started watching him because he said it was about the bars. It was biology class. He was doing hip hop back then.
That's why I
Was he
started
not?
watching him.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't watch him no more.
I don't.
Right.
And
But I
he's
think
not an
this-
artist either. But the artists that do react, who are hip hop artists, and
I think
put
that-
out that crap, are the problem in this industry.
It comes back to, I think, that point I think I made right at the beginning, which is what do they want out of it? You know, because there are, I think on one side you have the people who are now reactors. This is what they do. They react. It's about the numbers. But I think what we should focus maybe more on is the artists, is
Yeah.
those who are part of hip hop, who are part of the culture. And, you know, YouTube, if you look at, you know, I spend most of my time on Twitter and you know,
Me too.
YouTube rappers, right? And the whole YouTube thing has kind of a bad rap actually within hip-hop a lot of the time.
industry
yeah,
itself,
because
yeah.
there's a certain subgenre almost of the YouTube rapper, of the people who
Right.
comment on YouTube videos, of the people who are in that. And I think that by consistently moving away from hip hop and focusing on these other genres or other reactions or the Tekashis, etc., they're distancing themselves, I think, perhaps more from that. And maybe by recognizing that even though they're YouTube, they're still part of hip hop, and they can actually help bridge that gap,
Which
I
is
think,
why-
between the hip hop rap
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
and core
YouTube.
hip hop.
Which
Yeah.
is why a lot of these hip hop conversations on Clubhouse, where a lot of these big artists do not even recognize YouTube artists and actually have a stigma against them because they say they're not part of, they're
All
not
platform
helping.
rappers
They're
Yeah.
not
have that
helping.
stigma, be it
No. Yeah.
SoundCloud, IG,
Yeah.
YouTube.
But
We
my
call them-
thing
we
is,
use like a platform rapper.
but I'm speaking specifically on the creators that do YouTube reactions who are hip hop artists. They get a big backlash from the underground artists because they're not reacting to underground artists. And so they're like, and then their music, they want fans to listen to their hip hop music. But if they're building fan base off of BTS, off of Blackpink, they're not going to be there for their music, right? It's the sense that you guys were saying. So are they even building themselves, their own music by doing
I think they are. I think they are.
Yeah.
I
But it's not
there's a
just hip hop.
hypothetical. I think there's a hypothetical, and I think there's a way where it's like, okay, if you're just hip hop and you got 100 hardcore fans and most of them are retained, it's like, fine, you got a nice retain rating, you got a nice fan base that like fuck with you, but it's only 100 people. Now, if you go react to something else and you get exposure to 700 people, but 122 of those people decide to listen to you also because they're like, oh, I kind of like this guy. He's blah, blah, yada, yada. And then you find out he happens to do music. Then they do grow their fan base, even though they're going outside their genre, because they're exposing themselves and they're getting themselves out there.
I don't
And
know.
we have seen that happen.
No, but you got, okay.
And then in
No,
that scenario,
not-
and in that scenario, you probably lose some of your hardcore, dedicated hip hop fans. But say you lose 22 of those people, you gained 122, you lost 22. That's a plus 100.
Right. So it depends on what your reactors want. So I hear Maria saying that if you're, so just don't do reactors in general. This is just the ones that are doing hip hop themselves.
Right.
Why would they want to exclude, why would they want to like distance themselves from that community, that fan base, just for views? So that's what I'm getting at.
But is it completely distancing yourself, or is it
no,
just
not
exposing,
completely.
or is it just a cast in a net in another lake also?
Here's the thing.
Or just another part of the ocean? It's like, hey, I know there's hip hop fans right here next to this island, but let me also go cast my net out here in the other part of this ocean. And I know they're not going to be the same percentage are going to like retain or going to be like the fans I want or going to be the fans that stick around. But any fans I can catch from out here are also going to be helpful.
Okay, so they do that, right? And they're hardcore BTS.
And I think that part helps them.
But they're BTS Army fans that listen to this pop stuff are not going to sit there and bump hip hop.
A lot of them don't. But
so wait, let me get my point across.
Okay.
So you're saying it's okay if they lose 22 real hip hop fans who could promote their shit and get other hip hop fans, as long as they gain this little crowd over here who aren't really going to bump their shit on the streaming platforms to get the money for streaming.
See, and this is where I start to have a conflict.
It's always going to be quite the fine line. It's always going to be a moderation thing. I mean, it's
but
always going to be.
Are they helping the industry? It's my point.
Are they helping the industry what? By growing their fan base?
The hip hop industry. If they're complaining about the hip hop industry, these hip hop artists who are complaining that do reactions and are complaining about the hip hop industry and
but
not
focusing their audience on a different genre.
Right, and not being able to make it in this industry because of how
Maria,
the industry is. Are they contributing to that fucked up part of the industry?
Let me ask you a question, Maria. How did hip hop ever grow in the first place if no one new could listen to it?
Okay, so it grew with the downtown, inside of downtown New York, with the hip hop community, and Blondie also put out a rap song.
Right, but how did it grow? Because nobody heard of it
Blondie's
before.
not rap.
So the first time they hear, so the first time anybody hears it, they're obviously not a hip hop fan because there is no hip hop fan because there is no hip hop.
But if you listen to hip hop back then, it was kind of like it was a little bit different. It wasn't like the lyrical shit that came out later in the late 80s to 90s. I'm talking the hardcore shit that is out now that we consider lyrical, like Rakim.
But any of it.
Okay, but how do you get Run DMC and Aerosmith if you're not willing to expand outside of your comfort zone too? I'm not saying that they should focus solely on that. That's not what I mean.
No, that's
what
not
I
the
mean
point
is
though. The point is, are they helping?
But the point is Go ahead,
balance
Ray.
I get
is
what you're
off.
saying.
I absolutely
I
agree.
get it. I get what he's saying. And yeah, diverse community all across hip hop.
Right, it's exposure.
Right, is exposure.
Right.
But you're
Like
also
Run DMC
excluding.
got fans from doing that like collaboration with Aerosmith.
With Aerosmith.
Like,
There are people who
Right.
didn't know Run DMC existed until Walk This Way hit the
Okay, but
airwaves.
they listen to that song. Are they listening to the other hard?
Not all of them,
No,
but for
they're
some
not.
people it was an entry
but
point.
if they were never gonna listen to anything and now they listen to something occasionally and support
an
a
entry
little
point.
bit,
Okay,
In the
it's
but,
same way-
a gross.
but
I
It's
will
a
say
now,
this, because
gross.
it's in the
There-
same way that
And the
Eminem's My
fact,
Name
and then the
Is
fact that
was
they
a
listen to that
entry
song,
point for
and then
people
they
to get
expose, like, say
actual,
their
like, the
kid
rest
to
of
it. Then
Okay,
their
you guys
kid
are talking
can
at the
go
same
off
time,
on
and
it.
I
Yeah,
have no
I
idea what's going on.
can't hear
I've
both
stopped.
of you at the same time.
Okay,
I've stopped.
let's
Right, I'm
let's.
sorry.
I have a question. So I think it would be interesting to take an artist that we like Blitz, for example, who we know is an artist, and we listen to his music, we know what he does. How has the listening of his music changed? Has it increased? I think that would be interesting to see, like, are these artists seeing an increase in the people who listen to their music
or
as
the
a result
reactions.
because of because if you actually look at the views of their videos, you look at script work too, you get an Eminem reaction or Tom McDonald reaction or Tekashi, and it's all
The
that.
views
Then
are-
you get
whew,
Dilemma song, and it's like
Not that many
500
views.
500 people.
Right,
Mhm.
and the same
I think-
with Blitz too.
Right. And I think also, because of this stigma of YouTube, that, if these, okay, they can potentially increase the number, by a few, the people coming in and starting to listen to hip hop, they could potentially get, 20, 30 more listeners by getting all these views and having all these subscribers. But are they going to consistently move themselves away and exclude a more core hip hop audience that might be there for them if they make more if they do more reactions and they make more connections with underground hip hop and move in that way? And I think it's, which way do they want to go as artists too?
Right.
And I just think that there
Sometimes,
are, yes,
and this
there
is
are,
where it gets complicated, I think,
Yeah.
is because there's a lot of creativity, but hip hop in and of itself doesn't pay off for years for most people. The legwork involved in actually elevating yourself, the newest, hottest artist has usually been running on the ground for like 10 to 15 years before they ever even get any recognition.
Right,
But they
I
still
mean,
got to pay their bills, hence the reaction stuff. So I think they play off of each other and make each other worse, but finding that ground that we can elevate everything would be amazing. But it's a matter of getting people on board, and that includes the listeners.
I mean, it's like this. The reactor told me hip hop don't bring views, but you make hip hop music.
Right. But
Right.
it
They've
doesn't
separated
feed your family,
themselves.
does it?
Right.
But those are two different things.
But not you, like Ellie said, you go to the video that they drop. You could even go to streaming and go see how many people are streamed, how many streams they got, like on Spotify for their music.
it's often less than 1,000 for every song. You can see it.
Definitely. So if
Yep.
they're gaining all these thousands of subscribers, all these, and it's because of other genres, are they really gaining more followers?
Well,
for their
those
music?
audience members aren't there for the music. They're there
hold on,
for
Right,
those are two
reacting.
different
they
things.
are, but it's in a
What-
different
What was the
lane.
music? What was the music views before they did all these other things? And
A
then
lot
what were
more
the
than
music
1,000.
views before that? Or were you saying there was 10,000 before, and also now they're doing
No.
BTS, and now it's down to 800?
I'm saying
Or was it
on
No.
400
Spotify.
before,
Saying it's
and
not going
now
up at
and
all.
now they got
Yeah.
200,000 people that watch them, and
It's
now
the
they got
same.
400 more people to fucking
she-
listen. to
That's
their
what I'm
music.
saying.
She's saying that the views on the reactions going up, but the streams on their music is not. It's not.
It's
correlated.
not. It's not
Streams.
actually having an
Like
increase.
Spotify,
Not at all.
iTunes,
Not
not,
by
at all.
50,
well,
not by
I don't know.
75, not at all.
Probably, okay, so
Yeah, but isn't some
probably
of
A little
that
bit.
how people
I
digest the
think-
music?
You know who I think got more streams in their music is Honey Koofies. His actual streaming, like Spotify, Apple, have boosted up since he started doing YouTube. But he's not a reactor either. He just puts out his video and he'll go live every once in a while and talk shit and joke around and make us laugh. And he talks about hip hop every time. Okay, but he networked his shit and got it out there, started doing the whole Koofy crew, and he really used the YouTube platform to grow his music fan base. And now his Spotify, because I went in when I first started listening to him, his numbers were very low. You can look at them on Spotify, you can look at how many streams they got on Apple. But when you go now, they're up the roof. And Marcus' Dilemma and Blitz's are kind of the same. And it
they've grown
pisses
a
me
little,
off.
but they do a different thing. So unfortunately, they're not getting the same recognition outside of the YouTube community.
Like they
And it's
get it.
because they do reactions.
And
Yeah.
you get it on YouTube a little bit. A lot of people go into the premieres because they want to be in the chat. That's mostly what it is. You have to admit it. They want to be in the chat. They want to show support. So they're in there chatting. But are they going back and looking at it and listening to it? And are they going to Spotify or Apple or anywhere else that is streaming and really like streaming it?
Right. But then
No,
isn't that on
they're
the
not.
listener as well?
That's
The
my
listener and
point.
how they digest their music.
That's my
Like where we
point.
go and where we go to listen to all of this music is part of the problem as well. And that's why I'm saying the listener
that's
needs
my
to be held to
point.
account too.
If
But you
he's
can't just listen
gaining,
to it in the live. If you're liking it, you're gonna listen to it everywhere.
but that's my point. Are they really helping
yeah, no,
their
I hate
own
Spotify.
streams?
But Maria, these are slightly different things because, like you said, Koofy doesn't react, so he's not ever getting sidetracked with getting fans that are coming to him, being like, "Oh, I'm a huge Eminem fan," and therefore all of a sudden he gets 100,000 just Eminem fans who, a couple go listen to music, but nobody isn't.
But
No,
a
he is
couple of
constantly just
reactors
doing. But he's
have
constantly
reacted
just
to
doing
it.
Content
Koofy,
is different too. Let's
Koofy.
not pretend it's
So
not.
only
No.
people that come around are coming around is for Koofy, where these other people are branching off and doing other things. So they're growing and they're getting substantial numbers from these other
Let me give you an
things,
example.
but it also doesn't necessarily help their music in that sense.
Let me give you an example. Nobody knew about Koofy until No Life Shaq reacted to him. Once No Life Shaq reacted to him, he grew. He popped. Everyone started reacting to him.
And that was part of it. But
wait.
Koofy himself
You-
was able to
That's
capture the
Koofy
attention.
just putting out Koofy.
Right.
And
then-
again,
only thing-
the content
The only
is different.
thing
but
people
you're not
had was
let me
Koofy.
finish. After No Life Shaq did that and others started reacting, Koofy then decided, I'm going to go live and I'm going to thank these people for reacting to me. And then he started doing shit. It helped him grow. So in sense, No Life Shaq helped boost 100 Koofy's music.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
they did contribute. They contributed to the industry in that essence, because if you ask these hip hop artists that are not YouTubers, that are out, like if you ask people like Shoe Gang and all of them, they all say 100 Koofy's is not a YouTube rapper. He's fucking
Again,
a
that's
real
what I'm trying
rapper.
to say.
So-
The content is different. That's part of it too, right?
But the
Because there's so many
reactors
layers to
boosted
this.
him. The reactors boosted
But what
him.
Koofy talks about isn't what Blitz is talking about. Blitz has got a much more mellow vibe, which I
It's
don't
still
like. It's
hip-hop,
still hip
is
hop.
my
Of
saying.
course it is. But you've got listen, when you like hard hip hop, like you do, I like a lot of it, but I don't like all of it. When you listen to hard hip hop, hard hitting hip hop, you were loyal to the hard hitting stuff for its
Right.
hard hittingness. Period.
Right, right.
The vibey stuff, I mean, sometimes you want to go this way, sometimes there's so many
Well,
other
I
options.
mean, that's the
The
thing
hard
though.
hip hop is a much harder lane to get into.
But what I'm saying is, in essence, those reactors that reacted to 100 Koofy's helped boost him. And
Absolutely.
and because of that, he gained a lot more following and his streaming numbers are up on all platforms. So they were being the A&Rs at that time by saying, hey, check out this dude. They could do that with other hip hop artists. And
I
people
think
like,
I get what you're saying. So
You
I
know
think
what I'm saying? I don't think
YouTube,
people understand what I'm trying to say. I think they think I'm just
YouTube,
being an asshole.
no, I get it. YouTube is,
No.
you are an asshole, but I still
I
get
am,
it.
That too.
yeah.
No,
um,
not just an asshole. You are way more than that.
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube has a potential here to actually play a really big role in
Yes.
supporting underground hip hop if
That's
it's done right,
correctly.
like with
Correctly.
Koofies. If we're saying channels that have an audience can support this, can react, can help promote that, and then the artist can use that, like Koofies has done, to build themselves up, and it can also then bridge that gap, get rid of the YouTube rapper trope, you know, that and
Yes.
help them get the respect within hip hop. So I think that bigger channels that claim to love hip hop and support hip hop, I think do have a bit of maybe a responsibility with their audience, and to actually say
Because
out,
what?
sit
Because
there
what?
and
Those
say,
bigger channels haven't played it already.
Here's
They
the
haven't played
thing,
these
when,
guys?
when they got 2 million subs and they react to that Mickey Mouse dude, that ASMR, whatever the fuck his name is, and after they react to him, after Shaq reacted to him, what happened? Everybody was reacting to him. Everybody was mentioning him. His shit started getting popular. People started, okay, so they contributed to that little shit.
It's more like concerted trolling.
But it don't
Yeah.
matter though. His views went up because others started reacting to him just to talk shit.
Like how many, I don't know anyone that's actually a fan of 6ix9ine. So what is his fan base?
My point, there are some, but that's my point. If you don't like this dude and you say he's fucked up the industry, this and that, but yet you're gonna react to him just to get views and sit there and just to talk shit, you're not helping the system, you're not helping the industry that way. You're promoting that little shit, even if you're talking shit about him. You're promoting him. All these views are coming because of your reaction. That's the point I'm making. Could they change that?
yes,
but to get the numbers to a level to actually make the change
It's got to
against
start
the algorithm.
somewhere.
Yes, and that's all I was ever saying, is that it's a really big endeavor. It's not impossible. Of course, it's doable, but
I mean,
you have to act like it needs real work.
I like the Rock reactions. I watch those. I like Rock too. Don't get it
I
twisted.
do like diversity.
I love, this is not about changing YouTube and only having hip hop, because I listen to a lot of other shit. Okay.
So they can do stuff as long as you like it, but they can't do stuff if you don't like it.
No.
No,
She's getting at especially
Fuck
these
you,
artists
Preston. That is not what I'm talking about.
No, but it's good to
Morgan's
bring it
at.
up
Hold
because
on.
a lot of people do simplify it that way in their brain. So talking about it is going to help us make some headway on this actual conversation.
My thing is this. My thing is saying, if you're a hip hop artist and you're sitting there reacting to a bunch of other shit and hardly any hip hop, and then you're going to sit there and react to people like 6ix9ine and talk shit about the industry and how fucked up it is and this and that, and yet you're causing the problem. I'm not
okay,
saying
Morgan wanted to speak.
I mean, it was basically what she was saying, Maria. But I'm just saying, it's basically what I was trying to say. It's the artists that are claiming to be part of the community who are not helping. Like if you're just a regular reactor, you don't make music, you don't claim to be part of hip hop, whatever, react to whatever you want to. But if you're putting out music that's supposed to be helping the culture, or you're supposed to be contributing, you should be contributing more than other reactors.
I think that's the point.
What I feel like she's getting at. It's
I
not
think
just
I agree.
reactors in general.
Yeah.
It's a specific set of reactors.
Yes.
No, I agree. And I think that is the point that Maria's been making. And I think it is, sorry, Maria,
time out.
Morgan was just saying that,
I got my
Nice.
they like that.
Yeah, that's what I went. Sorry, I had to go get the door because they delivered it.
The funny thing is most of us generally agree on this.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it is.
I didn't mean to walk out like that, but they were at the door and I had to go get it.
We thought that we'd just pissed you off so much that you were gonna.
I thought you were taking a break for a second. I was like,
no, because like Freshman and I have argued many times. I don't like like I could sit here and say, fuck you, freshman, and continue on. I think he thinks I'm trying to get people to just only react to hip hop. That's not what I'm trying to do.
No, I agree. And I like, I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, have been my entire life. So,
me too.
you know, I loved like when Stevie Knight was listening to Pink Floyd and he'd never heard it before. Like, I like watching that. I think that's fun.
Me too.
So I agree with you, not react to hip hop or metal or country or whatever, because it's just music and it's fun, and you know, it's about enjoying that. But it is, as Morgan said too, especially those artists who want to be part of hip hop and want to be part of the culture and that community do have a bit more of a responsibility.
And you're alienating the hip hop fans.
Yeah.
When they sit there and say, well, we don't get views on hip hop, or they get claimed, so we're not going to react to him, but you'll react to Eminem knowing he gets claimed.
Well, because Eminem is such a huge,
distinct difference for that one.
But that's
it's not
thing,
fair,
though.
but it's true.
Here's the other part. You'll sit there and say in a live stream, oh, he's so underrated, so this, so that, as you're reacting to it, but you won't put him on your fucking channel on a regular reaction. That's the crime right there. That's where I say, you know what?
Well, because I think the problem on the YouTube side is the YouTubers themselves
they care more about views.
They fall into the algorithm. So if they don't post the right content, they do get pushed down. So if their voice is being silenced because they're not being, but that's what I'm saying though, is that
I don't think so. I think if they got their following, those followings are going to go look at their reaction no matter where it's at in the recommended list.
Well, like Ren had said before, it's not all natural algorithm. Some of that is YouTube. I mean, you look at how much stuff, I mean, we already talked about Eminem, he puts political stuff out and the algorithm shuts it down. So, I mean, there's stuff like that too. And I can see how, you know, you don't want
darkness
to be
itself got taken right out of the algorithm.
That's wonderful. I know that's a beautifully done video and song. So like to not have that to be shared. So, but I see how like the like you said, the natural algorithm obviously can be swayed a little bit, but if YouTube itself is not promoting or allowing that stuff to go through, it's not going to do much for the reactors.
Right, but then, okay, so you're going to go by what YouTube says as opposed to.
No, I'm not saying that the voice can't be changed.
It can. I think it can.
That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say the voice can't be changed. I'm just saying you got to remember these people are trying to live too. So finding a way to live in an algorithm that will silence you if you don't put the content.
Right. So you know what I'll
wants
say?
You to put up.
What I'm going to say is, hold on, Maria, hold on. Yeah. I'm going to say, if you're putting out hip hop and you're part of the culture, you forfeit your right to complain about the industry if you're not helping it. That's what I'm going to say.
Right.
So, yeah. And that's my point on it. I'm stuck.
If you sit here and tell me, well, we can't react to King Crooked no more because he gets claimed. But then you'll react to Eminem and he gets claimed. And then you want me to ask King Crooked for certain things, but you don't want to react to him because his thing gets claimed. You're really essentially not helping the situation here.
And I absolutely agree with that.
It's just the money.
No, and that's where I say, do you really care about hip hop, or is it can give you? Because if you're only reacting to M because that's going to bring all the stands to your channel, and you're going to get views,
it does,
and get subscriptions. Are you really caring about hip hop, the industry that you're trying to make music in? As a YouTube reactor,
but also
artist.
Side note, stands, you need to do better. Like actually,
they really do.
Yeah.
Some of them, not all of them. I hate to group them all together.
Me too. Like there's a lot of incredible stands out there, and then we've got the super toxic side, just like everybody else. But to expand beyond Eminem is really important to what hip hop is actually about.
Well, the stands that sit there and say Eminem is the greatest and only lyricist out there,
incredible.
Those are the fucked up stands, I think, because if you listen, if you've never heard any other hip hop artists and only listen to him,
can't say that.
You can't say that because Rakim, Tretch, all of them are amazing.
It makes it embarrassing. it makes it embarrassing to be
Show my age
a
now.
fan of Eminem.
Right.
Like I'm a fan. I'm not a stan by any means, but
too.
you know, I am a
Yeah.
big fan
That
of
one.
him.
I
And-
love him. I love him.
And he's my favorite artist, but I
Well,
don't for a
yeah.
minute sit there and go, oh, he's so much better than everyone else and blah, blah, blah. Like Rakim to me is
Stan is an
like,
incredible
he
song, but I
is-
can't be a Stan because there's plenty of M songs where it's like, I just can't listen to that one.
Oh,
I
Fat.
hate quite a few M songs actually. They just
Me
really
too.
annoy me.
I hate Fat.
But that's what makes it
You
a
love Fat.
fan.
You love Fat.
love
Don't
Fat.
even.
You
Don't
do.
even.
Oh.
do.
No, you're
Anyway.
trying. So, okay, so back to the YouTube thing. So,
Yeah, we can get onto stands another time.
yeah, so if they
I see
are
you.
going by the algorithm, and if they all decide, not all, because like I said, I'm talking to the YouTubers that make hip hop music. The YouTubers that are actually out there and there's a lot of them. It's not just a couple of the ones we know. There are plenty of them out there. And they're putting out this other stuff just to get a fan base. Are they really helping the industry? Are they really gaining a fan base for their music, or is it just because of what they're reacting
For their
to?
channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's a difference between getting subscriptions for your channel and getting fans for
There's
your
a bunch
music.
of different types of fans, and that's the thing. Like you've got
Yeah.
people that are here only for your conscious songs. You got people that are only here for your M reactions, and trying to cater to each of those specifically. I can't imagine
There's
it would
no
be
way to please
exhausting.
everyone. Yeah, there's
No.
no way to please everybody. But I have a question real quick. I have a question. So you're saying, because we just had this little bit of argument. I'll just do an example. For someone who does hip hop music, they make hip hop music and they're a reactor. You're not saying to completely switch over to hip hop, but maybe back off from some of the mainstream or the like the Tekashi and the BTS, the Blackpink, and switching and putting in more of.
How about putting in some real lyrical hip hop out here, like some real hip hop, instead of like, don't sit here and say, well, they get claimed. If you can do Eminem reactions and it gets claimed, it shouldn't matter. Let's help the industry out. Let's boost these artists and show what hip hop's about. You don't have to do it every day. You could do Way Back Wednesday and do some Rakim and shit. Okay. You know, it gets claimed. You don't get paid for it. But hey, you're trying to reach these hip hop fans to get
So then, well, then it would work the other way. So I know they want to get paid for every single one because it's their living for most of them. That's the only way that, you know,
they make most of their money in their live reactions though, because they get dono requests and people are requesting music to get reacted to. They make a lot of money on their reactions.
I think it depends on the level of reactor.
YouTube. Well, a lot of their percentage goes to YouTube. And then if people don't watch the ads, they don't get paid for it because.
Right, but then you start getting people that get promoted through company deals and all kinds of other stuff. So then that changes where they get paid.
So say they do this, just an example. So out of 7 videos they put out, they do one where that gets claimed. They don't get paid for it. I mean, putting out something that's not hip hop, the next one. I mean, is that gonna be enough to offset the one that they didn't get paid for? Because I mean, that's where the problem is. If that's like I said, it's their livelihood, so they need to get paid. They need the subscriptions. They need the views. So I mean, is that going to be enough?
I mean, some of these channels that are hip hop artists will react to Eminem 3 times a day, 4 times a week, and don't get paid for those reactions because they get claimed.
Right.
Okay, so if they're putting out that many videos on not getting claimed and not getting paid for it, what's to say they can't change it from Eminem and do some Rakim, some other shit on those days instead of Eminem?
The difference on that is M automatically brings the views.
But
even if it's a false boost, it's still a boost to the algorithm, which helps raise them. I agree.
Fuck the algorithm.
I'm just saying it's more complicated for the people that got to feed their families. They have to choose.
But they're not getting
even if
paid.
they don't want to choose.
But they're not getting paid for those videos.
Other stuff.
They're not getting paid for those reactions, Rin.
If you can boost your numbers in the right amount of time, the deals that you can get do pay you.
Okay, but Sarah, some of these channels aren't big enough to have deals yet. Only Shaq is.
Right, which is
Shaq
why
is.
the boosting matters to those channels.
Right.
I'm not saying it helps. I'm just saying that it makes it more complicated when you take in the human factor.
Well, then I say they're probably hurting the industry more, and they're trying to get into industry. So then, in my essence, as a hip hop head, am I gonna what am I gonna support?
That's interesting, though. I think just bringing up hip hop head, and it's what I've been thinking is that there are, you know, I think Maria especially is kind of a rare breed as being a real hip hop head who does also watch the YouTube stuff, because I think a lot of heads, old heads especially, will look at this and just be like, that's not hip hop, I'm not getting involved, it's stupid, it's reactions, like why would we want to do that? The people who do it aren't hip hop, the people who watch it aren't hip hop. And again, you know, if these, I'm not saying they would bring all of them over, but again, you know, they could bridge a gap by doing more on classic hip hop, on some underground stuff, on some lyrical stuff, to actually say, you know, this is, you know, breaking down bars, talking about, you know, the impact, you know, taking an old song and really breaking down the bars and the impact of what it was like and what its place in the culture is and all that. And that could actually, again, increase support from the rest of the hip hop listening community that doesn't fuck with the YouTube community because of how it's portrayed. And I just think it's continuing to separate. And the more it separates, the more
there's YouTube, a lot of division.
And it's just getting worse. And the more that, you know, it's just going to be these YouTube artists are going to be further and further and further away from hip hop, further away from the opportunities to work with producers and other artists, you know, features and all that kind of stuff, because people will be like, you're the YouTube rapper, you're that.
I think you know, more rap artists than hip hop artists, but I like rap too. But this is why I fuck with Stevie Knight so much, so because he'll react to some really old school shit and then talk about it and be like, this is, you know, when this came out, God, blah blah blah. And
if you look at if you look at the comments on a lot of Stevie's stuff too, I think his audience is
hip hop heads.
Is a much more hip hop audience than a lot of the others because of how he's approached it. Yeah, he does some of the fun. He'll do some rock stuff.
Very far and few though. Yeah.
But it's really rare. And he genuinely, he reacts to, you know, a lot of Snow, for example, more than a lot of the others do. And a lot of some of the UK hip hop. And I think that Stevie's managed to make an audience. I think also his honesty, you know, he doesn't lie when
his shit talking.
Well, and it's frame of mind. Like
something.
In Stevie's case specifically, I think he ignored, like, if I don't want to listen to that, I'm not doing a video on it.
Yeah.
Period. End of discussion. He doesn't put out a bunch of stuff that people might not be interested in, but he definitely keeps it focused, which is a lot easier.
Right. In 6 months, he's gained over 100,000 subs.
Yeah.
And he's been consistent from the beginning.
And I've been watching him for a long time. At first, I had a real big issue with him at first.
But the thing with bringing up Stevie that's unfair, though, is because you don't get to compare his Spotify numbers because he's not the artist then also.
Right, but all these subs that he has, he's contributing to the hip hop culture is my point, because he's doing the hip hop shit that a lot of these artists won't do. A lot of these artists aren't going to sit there and react to Fat Joe and Big Pun, or react to Too Short or E40. A lot of these reactors aren't going to react to Scarface and all of that like he does. Yeah. And it shows that there's an audience for it.
Exactly. There are people who want to watch reactions and breakdowns of hip-hop.
And the thing is,
do you think there's more of an audience for that than there is for this other stuff?
But these artists that are rap artists that are trying to get in this industry and say, well, there's no views in hip-hop, so I'm not going to really react to it unless it's a live stream.
But if you want to be hip hop, it's
these
not can't be
but
about the
but
views.
if
And I
more
think that's the
people
overall
but if
point.
more people came into that lane and we're doing the same thing, we're doing all the same videos Stevie Knight was doing, then all those views would get diluted and like washed down too.
Well, they're doing the same shit. I mean, they don't, that's the thing with hip hop. There's such a diversity in hip hop. You could react to, I mean, you don't, all of them don't have to react to the same thing. But a lot of these hip hop are these rap artists that are on YouTube are all reacting to the same artist, the same song. Like I could go in every
You
day
can
and I'm gonna
clearly tell what
see
the algorithm is boosting this week.
4
Yeah.
Easy-E videos, 4 Easy-E reactions in one day, all the same song, different reactors. And most of those, 3 of those people are hip
I
hop
mean,
artists,
even
are rap
outside of
artists.
the algorithm, I mean, it doesn't help that a lot of these reactors talk to each other.
Right. Okay. So
There's-
in
there's-
that
there's-
essence, they should say, hey,
there's some that are literally like, hey, this is what I'm doing this week. Jump on it at the same time I'm jumping on it.
I think that's where, here's the thing. Now, because they all react to Eazy-E, it's like every day, even the smaller channels. It's
There's
turned me
Easy
off.
reactions now.
It's turned me, not Easy Mill. It's turned me off to
Easy.
him.
I was
Who's reacting to
confused.
Easy? I want
I
to
was
know.
so confused. I was like,
Yeah, Easy Mill. I'm like turned off of him completely now. And Stevie Knight reacts to him, but very
I'm not
like
turned off, but I want to
not
go see
every
his music on my
day.
own. I'm not watching reactions to it.
You don't react to him every day. Every day, 3 of these channels that I watch that are friends of mine, every day they're boosting out the same fucking Easy Mill reaction.
And
Well,
Stevie Knight did one too, just like you said. Like,
Right,
what?
one, but it's not the same
It's a-
one they did. They're doing the
Right.
same. Those 3 are doing the
Right,
same
because
one.
right, because one of the things Stevie realized, and probably, you know, the blessing that he got going for him is going against the grain in a lot
Right.
of sense. But that works for him because he's one of the few going against the grain. And there's enough of an audience that's like, man, I would love anything besides what 98% of the everybody else is doing. So
and my
he gets a
question,
population. But if everybody started doing more of like that, then
Their
it's no
own
longer
shit?
against the grain.
but if they started doing it, but their own shit, like started doing, they don't have to do the same thing
Be nice.
Stevie's doing, like start reacting to other songs. I mean, why do they have to react to the same fucking song in the day?
because it's whatever's popular at the time.
That's what I'm saying. If they went against it and started doing their own thing, like Stevie did, could they change the algorithm?
So you know I'm a
And
big
we're all
analogy.
saying yes. We're just saying it's not going to
Yes.
be an easy trial.
So you know I'm a big analogy person, right, Maria?
Right.
How I've kind of viewed this whole thing and how we've all kind of said it is like, yes, in some way, a little bit to a degree, however, how much, whatever. I view it kind of as like trying to like change like the course of a river, like a big river, and the
Right.
mainstream being like the Mississippi River. It's
Right.
like, could you divert the path? Could you make it not go down between these 2 states? Could you shift it in this way? And it's like, yeah,
Time.
with some prep work, with some time, with some machinery, with enough things, if you had enough of a concentrated effort and the water
Right.
went that way over time, yes, absolutely.
Over time. Yeah.
Right.
But it's the amount of work, it's the amount of people being dedicated to it. And the thing you're saying is that you're like, okay, this one person started this little path, this little beaver put up his own little dam,
Well,
and
it's
he
not
got his
just
own little
one.
path coming
The
around.
grain,
Hold on.
honestly, is actually
on.
the best analogy.
Wait, Red.
So you got this one little beaver named Stevie Knight who had this one part, did this dam, and he got this little part coming around the corner, and it works for him. And it's like, well, cool, that works because he could picked a prime location, and he's the only one doing it right now. Now, if every other beaver tried to do it, and they're not, and it's not like a coordinated effort, you just end up with the shit show.
Right.
The
But
farmer
how
comes
about
by with the
But if
dynamite
all the
stick, that's what
beavers
happens.
work together, you could build one hell of a dam and you could make one hell of a
Okay.
change.
okay?
So
but-
I do agree with you in the sense that you could get it,
right.
but it's like the coordination level and it's like the amount of time and effort.
Okay,
Is really
so
what it boils down to.
I'm
But
gonna
that is
ask.
where my analogy goes.
Okay, so before we're gonna take a, because we're gonna take a little break, but before, when we come back, I'm gonna ask this one question, and it has to do with, yes, you're right, freshman, about the beaver and all this shit. There's a lot of our YouTube reactors I found that only do hip hop, and their numbers are growing. They're not as popular as Stevie Knight, King Blitz, Scriptwork. They're smaller channels, but they're growing. And I noticed that because I've been following them for a while. They're growing and they're only doing hip hop, like real hip, like hip hop. So when I come
Wait
back,
till they hit you with the switch up, and then let's have this conversation again.
no, their channel.
She ain't ready for it. She ain't ready for it.
No. Their channel is strictly based on hip hop, which is what I gotta do with
No,
mine.
there are legitimate hip hop ones out there.
That's what I'm talking about. The legitimate hip
Oh,
hop
we have
channels.
heard a lot start that way too.
Yeah.
Okay, Maria, did you have a question that
My
you wanted to
question
ask
is
us
this:
before?
the beavers that you're talking about, I'm talking about those beavers that are rap artists and do reactions. My question sticks the same. Could they change their shit to get more hip hop fans? Because yeah, they may have a lot of subs, but are their subs really listening to their fucking music?
Of
No.
course.
Right. No,
I'd
they could
almost
do
think of
better.
it like any business looking for employees. You have to hire 150 good people to find 5 good ones. It's
Great
the same
ones,
with
yeah.
fan base,
Yeah.
right? Like for
they're
everybody
pushing-
that hears your music, only like 2% is maybe gonna do anything about it.
But the other thing is they're pushing their hip hop fans away.
I mean,
With-
So
businesses
there's
do that
definitely
too.
a balance.
Because I used to watch a lot of these reactors when they were doing a lot more hip hop. Then they started with I stopped watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fresh called me out on the dope reaction, and then a lot of those reactors knew what I meant by that. Like, I don't like this shit, but hey, so now I don't even do that. I just
Because you're
don't.
sending a false, people who don't know
Right,
you, you're just sending
right.
a false.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Comment.
So I stopped
It's
doing
false
that.
support.
Yeah,
Yep,
and I
that's what I
stopped
meant.
doing
Thanks,
it.
Ren.
Yeah, I stopped doing it. So now I'm not even I'm not even gonna fucking say it. They know, and now they're gonna know by me not even writing dope reaction. They're gonna know, fuck this song.
Yeah.
Well, they will now.
It's making your dollar count. It's making your voice heard in the only way you can. It's like
Right.
how do you get change at like this restaurant? It's like, well, you personally, you don't go there. How do you
Right.
get big time change? You got to get more than just you to not go
Not
there,
to go there. Right.
but you got to start with you and have that stance,
Right.
and then you got to and it's the same.
And
It's the
it
same with
hurt.
these artists and their channels in this industry and
Right.
the stream.
And the thing
It's like-
is a lot of those reactors that I would do that to are actual friends of mine. I talk to outside of online, phone numbers, and I talk. So I had to stop doing that. And that kind of hurt me a little bit, because I'm like, well, I support them. I support their music.
Right, and you still
But
support,
now-
but you still support what you support: your music, your channel, your merch,
Right.
the
right.
stuff that you're
Yeah.
interested in. It's like, look, if you put this stuff out, I'll support it.
Joelle. Okay, so we're gonna take a little break. Is that cool?
Yeah. Good.
Absolutely.
Because I gotta go smoke. I'm gonna.
I'm worried.
All right.
1 second, I
back.
need some nibbles.
Hold on.
Hold on, wait until Ren's fit more than anything.
You ready?
Also, I have dessert, and
So-
you start us off.
Okay, so okay, we took a little break. I think I'm gonna cut that out though and just merge it all one, because it's all one
That's
recording.
fine.
Okay, so here's a question I have. I've been in conversations with like bigger names in hip hop that aren't what they call YouTube artists. And the name that comes up a lot that they can't stand is Tom McDonald. Is me too. I can't stand him. I don't like his music.
I don't know if you can see the
and-
pain on my face.
Right. And there's a few other artists that come up, and their complaint is a lot of them, is that these reactors are pushing his content out, but won't react to any of their shit. And so my question is that helping the culture or not?
I think it's definitely not helping the culture. I mean, we've got.
I don't think that's the point of it.
And
No,
is it contributing to him getting so-called bigger, as far as people saying he is part of the culture? Is it because of these reactors reacting to his stuff?
I think that's part of it, but he
Part of it.
promotes himself differently. So it's not singularly responsible.
Right, but if they're all reacting to everything he drops and they're all sitting there reacting and going, oh shit, this is fire.
There's an
Oh,
expression.
shit, that was a bar.
And this is
Yeah.
there's an old expression, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And if your fan base is much louder than everyone else's, as far as a reaction community goes, that's who you're going to react to, because that's who they're telling you need to react to.
Right.
It's a circle. I think, you know, that they react, his fans become followers, they request it, it gets reacted to, and it, I mean, it
Until it
does.
fizzles.
Yeah, it will,
It
it
becomes-
will, I think it will like create more views, like, and it probably will create listens. And I think, you know, there's an interesting, it's a completely different discussion we'll probably have at some point, but, you know, on streaming numbers. So, you know, when something happens and it's big and a lot of people go listen to it, you know, one song can have a lot of streams, and some of that's just curiosity as much as anything, you know. So
Right.
you kind of have to, you know, a lot of the listens that some of these artists will get is often like, it will come from probably curiosity if they see, you know, oh, everyone's reacting to it. But you know, something I was thinking was, there are a lot of hip hop artists who aren't on YouTube or any other platform, who grind, who don't have big audiences, but they keep going and going, and, you know, eventually they might start to build a following and all that, and they just accept that that's what they do. They do it because they love it. They use Twitter, but, you know, they use it, they love it, that's what they do. And I just think it's interesting that, what is it that is leading some of them to make the choice to use YouTube or to go on that platform? Are they aware of the stigma that maybe comes with it, of then becoming like a YouTube rapper?
In the live streams, like especially in King Blitz's, I see a lot of artists that are on YouTube that aren't really well known, that consider themselves rap, and they're asking for him to react to his stuff, their stuff, and he will in the live stream, and then he'll critique it. So I'm thinking that's the goal, is to get someone to react to their stuff, maybe help boost it. But I'm a big supporter of some of these channels, and there's one in particular that I'm really big supporter of, and I love them to death, but they straight up told me they will not react to King Crooked because his shit gets claimed.
Yeah.
And that stung my heart, because Crook is, him and Tupac are my favorite, and that stung my heart a lot, because they're you know, I've been asked to ask, you know, hey, would you like to be, would you do, you know, and but yet when it comes to reacting, they won't react to him because he gets claimed. And I get it, you know, they don't, but then there's the whole M thing, he gets claimed and they'll react. So
but there's a different payoff with the M thing. That's the thing, right? That's where it gets complicated in the human factor.
The thing is, though, is a lot of stands follow Crook. His Twitter is filled with stands.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
They would get a lot of views either way, because the stands will support Crook, especially because Crook goes to bat for him on Twitter and on interviews, and he'll do videos talking about supporting him, you know.
Well, and you can reach out, not to all of them, but you can reach out to a lot of artists, and they can usually work something out with their label so that the claiming isn't always the issue.
Right.
Usually. I'm not saying for every artist, that's not true for everyone, obviously, but
well, Crook is independent.
Yeah,
so.
right. So I mean, by reaching out, But at the same time, I mean, why wouldn't Chris claim it is his content? He wants a piece of the pie too. This is where you get creative differences, right? Like
Right.
this is his content. So reacting to it, he kind of is entitled to a piece. I absolutely agree.
Right. Do you know that there's some YouTube artists that claim their shit?
I do.
That you know, and some of these
And ones that
reactors,
didn't normally claim it, start claiming it when they get stuff and views that they don't like they don't like the opinion or who did the reaction.
no, there's some reactors that react to these claimed artists, these artists that are YouTube artists that claim their shit. But I'm okay. Like I said, fine. I just won't do all the other extra, but in the live streams, I'll request Crook. And then I'll screen record it and post it on my Instagram. Hey, live reaction to Crook. I've come to grips with that. So these artists that people consider to be super lyrical, like Tom McDonald, Dex, people with the fast cadence that kind of don't ever change it. These loop gons, people like that, are getting lots of views on through these reactors when they drop a song. Now, the fan base that they have built because of these reactors and because of being YouTube and the YouTube community fan base will sit there and say stuff like the M fans do. You know, M is like the best lyricist. And haven't really heard hip hop. So they're doing that with these artists. So my question is, are these reactors boosting these people to make that hip hop as opposed to reacting to hip hop? And now
it's almost creating a genre in itself, isn't it? Of
right. That's what I think.
You know, this and that the fan base become and again it comes down to this whole separation thing. You've almost got this separate fan base of people who, you know, like the Tom McDonalds and the kind of the white rapper thing, as opposed to rappers who happen to be white. You know, there is almost like a thing now of a white rapper and how they sound, and
they got the same kind of cadence.
They're all the same, and I guess for me, it's like there is just a question that artists and people and the reactors and everyone who's involved in hip hop on YouTube have to ask themselves. It's almost like down to an integrity thing of like, how much do we care about hip hop, and how much do we really care about the culture of hip hop, and do we want to be a part of that? And if you do, then you got to make maybe some difficult decisions about how you're approaching your music and your content. And if you don't care about that, fine, go and do and be separate, but don't be surprised if you're not going to get support from the culture. And you can become a completely separate genre on your own with your own fan base, and there's not going to be crossover there, and you're just going to have to do that. And maybe there is an important question that they're going to have to
I do got to shout out King Blitz, because he made the integrity, the decision upon integrity on not reacting to Tekashi anymore. He made it. He's like, I can't do it no more. I'm done. I'm not going to put him on my channel. I don't care about views, but you know.
Well, were the reactions just kind of the same anyway?
We still got the other stuff coming out.
Were his reactions just the same anyway for everything? I mean, like I said, I don't watch reactors because I don't find it, I don't get pleasure from it. But I mean, like, if he was reacting to anything Tekashi put out, were the reactions the same? Was he ever saying anything different? Or was just the same? You know what I mean?
The one time he did, he was basically talking like, you know, this dude is a joke kind of stuff. I think it was. I know Dwayne did a couple of reactions and was talking down on Tekashi. But in my opinion, when you do that, you're still giving Tekashi that view.
Right, no. Yeah, what I'm getting at is, you said he's going to stop.
He did stop. He hasn't.
Right. So I mean, at a point, if it's not anything different, if his reactions are all the same, then what's the, I mean, people aren't going to want to watch. I
Well,
wouldn't watch.
they're
Like
not.
if he was reacting to like a different song, same artist, but the reaction was the same. This is stupid. It's stupid. You know, that's the same thing he's put out before.
He's not reacting to anything that dude puts out, but every reaction is kind of different. Like it depends on what, okay, like the reason I like Stevie Knight is because he talks a lot of shit. The reason I like the dads script work is they break down and then they digress into like, oh, remember back in the day, blah, blah, blah.
Like watching with a friend.
It's like, yeah, and I like that because I like that. Plus,
And sharing with a friend.
I talk to them outside, so I kind of, you know, but I like that. And I like watching when King Blitz does a hip hop reaction. I like hearing like King Blitz has a different ear. He kind of listens to the production because he produces.
You put a piano
stuff.
in that. You put piano in that beat, and his ears perk up immediately.
Right.
He loves pianos and strings.
But the thing is, though, is these YouTubers that I named, the reactors, they are artists. Marcus Dilemma from Scriptwork is a rap artist. Blitz is a rap artist. Dwayne is a rap artist. Holla, I say he's a rapper, but he doesn't really put out a lot of music. But he's a hip, you know, he raps when he does go on a song. Okay, and these are the channels that are reacting to a lot of the other stuff, and basically, you know,
right. So
are doing a lot of the rap.
Right. So at this point, you can't have it separate. You can't have a separate channel for reactions and be putting out a certain genre of music and then complain about not having your music being,
well, the thing
or
is,
not necessarily music, but the industry in general.
Right. And the thing is King Blitz
But the
had told
industry
me,
does have its hand in this because it is
Right.
keeping people unstable and off foot and trying to take over too. So I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot of levels to this.
King Blitz had told me he's going to start appeasing to the hip hop community because of his music. He wants to gain a hip hop following. And I'm still waiting on the reactions to come out for that. And I get it. I mean, I get it. You pay, you support your family off your channel. But nothing can change if nothing starts, right? So the industry that's popping this shit out, and YouTube is a part of the industry. Let's not kid ourselves, because if you go to recommended music, their shit is like,
well, they have their
stupid.
They have their own music app now. I mean, you've got YouTube Music. There's a specific subscription for YouTube music. So I mean, it's obvious they have their hand in it. It's not just videos.
Right. So my thing is, like, it's like the radio stations. What they used to play, like when you could turn on and hear Tupac, you could hear Biggie just dropped, and Biggie would be on the radio, Rakim, all of that. And then it switched to where you start hearing Cardi B, fucking crap like that, the Migos, Little Pump. And so people stopped listening to the radio, hip hop heads, right? They're like, fuck this, we're doing underground. It's the same with YouTube. And I kind of feel reactors are the radio stations.
Right.
And what they're putting out. And if they're all putting out the same shit, then
it might as well all be the same station.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, that I was trying to figure out a way of explaining what I meant. And that's the best way I could do it. The radio, they are today's radio station. And what they put out matters on who's going to listen and what. And
for people who are listening to the radio.
Right.
The radio.
Right, exactly. So if they're building a fan base off this other crap and they're rappers, people aren't going to tune into that station when they go to put their music out. They're still listening to the main station they're promoting, which is all the crap they react to. Right? You almost got to change the station to get to the hip hop song they're dropping, the rap song they're dropping.
Yeah.
So for
In
me,
the same way that video killed the radio star, it's kind of like being force-fed baby food at this point. It's really
Right.
hard to find what you're looking for in music unless you're really willing to do the legwork, because
Right.
there is
Yeah.
no
I just
central
dig through the
place
crates.
for all of it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm more on Bandcamp than anything because I like Bandcamp. You can get a lot of underground artists. I always look for the new artists that I could find. I found a really good gem of an artist. His name is so hard to say though, but he's really conscious hip hop. And you know, I love that conscious shit.
Mhm.
So YouTube to me is radio. It's become the radio station, and what
Right.
the
And if
crap
we
they're
want to
pumping out.
really be A&Rs in YouTube, like, and I mean Reactors, not me specifically, I'm no
Right.
gatekeeper, but
Yeah.
then there kind of needs to be more to it than what we're at right now. And
Right.
you have to actually bring up original music,
Yeah.
which isn't in any algorithm.
Right. Right.
And I think
Definitely.
too, I mean, you know, they're all reacting to certain things because they know it's going to get big views. But, you know, you can get big views without reacting to 6ix9ine. You don't have to do that. You know,
Right.
there are other ways, I think, to get that. You know, it's very, I think, you know, it can be easy to just go, oh, you know, this happened. Look, Takashi's done something else that, you know, everyone's talking about now. You know,
Right, so because, like, that's trending
I
stuff.
mean,
it's
look
trending, so we can react to it. But there are things that are good
I got
Mhm.
that you can
400.
that are going to get views, and you just have to make, again, you have to make
You
that
see.
decision to say, I might get 1,000 viewer reviews,
Yep.
but
I
I'm, you
mean,
know,
let me look this number up.
what decision are
exactly.
you going to make?
I got 496 subscribers to my dinky little channel. Okay. And my biggest video amount of views is Rock Him. I got 5,000.4
Mhm.
views on that.
And I can
just Rock
almost
Him.
guarantee you that was searched by people who mess with Rakim or follow your channel, which if you've got over 5,000 views, we're either rewatching it a bunch of times or you have people searching for Rakim.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
so that just proves my point. There are people out there looking for this shit.
Right.
But-
I think like you could do like Social Blade and stuff like that. You could start to track that kind of stuff and
Yeah,
break it down to who's doing what, how many.
there
are
is an
not
audience.
actually-
Well, yeah.
there is
YouTube-
a potential audience there for
Yeah.
for this stuff,
YouTube
Yeah.
Studio, what it
whether
does,
you go and find it.
YouTube
Mhm.
Studio pretty much tells you, like, it'll tell you, let me go to it. It'll tell you who's, God, let me open it up. Hold on. It gives you a bunch of information about your demographic, who's watching, the age group, male, female, what country, blah, blah, blah. What's like, it pretty much
Right. And
shows
how
up-
many are sub to you versus how many are
Right.
not your subs, all that stuff.
and
Yep.
it'll give you, like, you know, all
And
these
that can help you
statistics.
pinpoint the audience that's coming to you right now and grow in the future, which is kind of what a lot of these reactors are doing, but they're following the algorithm
trends.
instead of
Right. Exactly. So for my channel, it's telling me hip hop because Rakim is my biggest.
Yeah.
I don't even have 5,000 subs. I've got 496 subs.
Mhm.
And Rakim has 5,000 some
Mm.
views. So there's a market out there for it in my,
Yeah, of course there is.
you know, let me go. It tells you analytics. So it's telling me real-time views of top videos. So it'll tell me, like, for the Rakim, you know, and it'll tell me how many views, how many subscribers I've gained, top videos, your audience, your engagement, you know, how many you've had in the last 28 days, your reach, like impressions and how many people have clicked, traffic source types, shit like that. So there is a market for it though. And I like I said, I don't want them to stop reacting. I mean, they don't like shit. Like I said, I love Pink Floyd. Hell, throw on some fucking Metallica. I love that shit too. But if you're a hip hop artist or a rapper, what you react to is going to affect your music too, because if you got nothing but BTS fans and Blackpink fans, they're really not going to listen to your rap song.
So would it be safer?
You're
Would it be safer
basically
to say
getting your 1%, like Marcus and them say, only 1% of you watch our music or our films. Only 1% out of all these people. So you're basically still only catering with your music to the 1% of your subscribers. In that essence, what is it all for?
So would it be safe to say, not necessarily stop reacting to the other stuff, but maybe include more of what you want? So
right.
I think that's more what you're getting. Not because otherwise you're just kind of dictating what they can.
Yeah,
and can't do.
no, just
So
include
Right.
real hip. Don't sit there and tell me there's
don't exclude it.
Yeah. Don't sit there and react to Tom McDonald, but damn, you're gonna react to this Joker, but you won't put on
somebody you actually listen to.
Yeah. And I think as a community of YouTube content creators on hip hop can actually work together and support each other through this too, you know. But you know, they can I guess just increase that a bit, or you know, those of them who actually do care about hip hop and do care about the culture and increasing that crossover between YouTube and the culture.
Freshman wants to say something.
You know, yeah. What
you know,
he's gonna do his devil advocate.
No, sorry. Just reacting to the try and want to support each other, like as a community. Like everybody always talks about it. It's always like a nice ideal, but
the open
I'm not saying it's easy.
The community is not really as unified.
Okay, so
but there's a few who could.
Yes.
I'm not saying the whole community, but those of them,
especially
you
got to start a core, and then you can build on that, and it becomes who
want to make a change and then build on it.
The thing that you freshmen and I realize is it's called the YouTube community, but it's really not a community. Do you know how much battles there are in this community? How many people are against each other in this community? Oh. I mean, good God, I run into a couple in a live stream every time I'm in there.
Are you telling me that YouTube is more divisive than Twitter?
Pretty much.
Behind the scenes,
that's
probably.
Bad. That's bad because it's pretty bad on Twitter.
And you hear about like the YouTube rap beefs, and it's a joke, you know, for everyone else. You know, people just, oh God, the YouTube rap beef. This is just nonsense. It's just,
so it's not just that. It's fan bases against fan base. I mean, you think stands are bad. Good God, there are a couple of fan bases out there that will just troll your ass off, man. And
they toxify the second you're not in agreement.
Yeah, and that's another thing. If you don't agree with what they like, they're on your ass.
I don't think there's any way to really change that.
No,
that's human behavior.
Anyways, I want to shout out Tracy Lee for this. I love you.
Love it, Fresh.
Thank you.
I haven't ordered mine yet, but I need to.
Freshman, and I almost got involved with that one fan base, and Freshman gave me the best advice ever because I'm such a big Scriptwork supporter. He's like, you should leave that channel because you're going to go off on people. And I know I would have gone off on said fan base. And
it would have had no effect besides drama.
I probably would have hired a few people to go after a few people. And it's not worth it.
No.
About that time of day.
There's still one person.
Gotta make sure people see me around, so I got solid alibis, plausible deniability.
I was busy that weekend.
Right. Now I did leave though, and I'm glad I left that server because damn, the day I left that server is the night they were talking shit in that server. So Fresh was like, hey, you should leave that server. It's not worth the headaches. God.
So anyways, in life and stuff.
Yeah,
and
so
stuff and
anyways, I'm
weather.
curious to know what the subscribers think. And any
Yeah.
of the people who watch this, let us know what you guys think in the comments.
Oh, there's some
Yeah.
people who are gonna watch this who are gonna have some opinions, and you're gonna hear some things.
Oh,
And
I
don't
know.
hold back. Don't hold back.
Yeah.
Hey, they all know me. The people that are going to say some shit already know.
Oh yeah,
I-
yeah.
They already
Yeah.
know me.
Yeah.
But we're not bringing that to the video because we're not trying to hurt anybody. We're not trying to keep
No.
anybody down. Everybody, there's room for everyone out here. It's
Hey,
just
Yeah.
a matter of, there's a lot
Oh,
of differences on
just yammering.
how people move. Yep.
let me give
Yeah.
my disclaimer right now. To all my reactors and friends that I love out there, you guys know what kind of asshole I am, and you know how much I talk, and you know I keep it straight. I'm going to tell you what I feel. If I offended anybody, I apologize.
Sort of.
But I love you guys, and this
Enjoy
is
that
why
because that's like her apology right there.
this is
That's
the
all you get.
reason that I did this is because this is how I feel. It's just how I feel.
And I
I
think,
mean, everyone feels like that.
but the point of us having this conversation is, apart from Morgan, who doesn't watch them, I do watch them, and I subscribe to a lot of them, and patron of a couple, and I'm involved with it, and it's because there's a lot of it I really genuinely like, but I'm also concerned in some of the directions that it's moving, and I think that's why this is a really interesting conversation to have, and that for me is kind of why I wanted to do this, is because
Definitely.
I love them, and it is sometimes you're sitting there and when you don't have people around you in your physical life who want to sit and talk about this music and listen to this music and you love it, it does give you that friendship and that I want to talk about this album with people. I want to break down the bars with people and it gives you that opportunity to do it. And I think that it's fantastic for doing that, but
Definitely.
it's all about, but then also how do we kind of keep that within the culture and keep it hip hop as much, without it just going too far, completely the wrong, not the wrong, but in a different direction that I don't want it to
especially
go.
now, like this whole pandemic year could have been the perfect opportunity to bust out some hip hop and get people more in tune with hip hop, right? Because people are at
watching.
home. Yeah,
they're watching a lot more.
They're forced online.
Yeah.
Basically.
I gotta give Scriptwork a big shout out because they introduced me to Bosswood, who I fucking love, and they introduced me to Renegade El Rey. He's fucking dope too. Yeah, but yeah, Bosswood, I fucking love Bosswood. Yeah, he's a good one. You should check him out.
Yeah, and if you can get more real hip hop heads, involved in watching this stuff, there's so many ways of getting new music out there and really promoting a lot of artists and making a difference to some of them and
change the industry, basically. We could literally change the system.
Yeah, you got to get enough people on board though.
It kind of changes all the time now, doesn't it? I mean, every once in a while just kind of
and there's big changes happening because the business side of it, like the industry side of it, is struggling on some aspects. They're still millionaires. But like to actually create and curate and get content out there, they're having a lot harder of a time of
well lyricism is back. That's the thing. Mumble rap is out now, and lyrical content has
they're still pumping you full of it, but
there will always be like a sort of fan base for that.
But you can see a resurgence of it. But what's that quote? There is a quote, something like every change in the world started with a small group of dedicated people, and it's probably a bit of a cliche, but like, if there are enough people just saying, we want to, provide a platform for hip hop.
There's a reason rap and hip hop speak to so many people at so many different levels, and lyricism is definitely a large part of that.
Yeah.
It sucks that the industry has kind of made it only about club music. Like,
Yeah,
I love club music. I love it. But I also love a lot of other stuff. And I love to elevate my mind, my person, like everything about life requires elevating. And that is what needs the attention, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we, it's just support the stuff that we care about, keep annoying the reactors to react to the stuff that we want them to react to.
sorry.
And it's not going to change overnight, and I'm not expecting a big change, but I do think that YouTube could play a slightly different role in hip hop than it maybe is right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think there are some good rappers that are YouTube, what they call YouTube rappers. I just consider them all artists. The only ones I say are different are SoundCloud artists, because but
Even then, though, there's a lot of amazing SoundCloud art. Like, I don't listen to all of them. They're generally not
I don't find any.
directed
I
at
haven't
me. It's
found
not my
any.
generation, but there is room for a lot of them. There
Well,
are some good lyricists that talk to the people they talk to,
I
and that
think
shouldn't be quashed either, because then we just become the same thing.
here's the thing too with Dilemma. He's so bar heavy, right? He's bar. Okay, and people have said he's too bar heavy. When I feel, and a lot of us hip hop heads are like, no, he's fucking killing it, right? So getting then you got people that won't react to it when he drops a song, other than some of these smaller channels that are.
Yeah, but then you get a lot of people who they won't react to everything, but they will throw one on there, and they do greatly respect him, but he doesn't get the same kind of looks yet.
But they respect him enough to put his music on their channel.
Right. But I mean, the people don't watch it yet. It takes time. Script work, I mean, they're so freaking talented. It's hard to focus on one thing with them.
Yeah, because you do
Anyways.
have the TV, like the series and everything else.
And I think
right?
there's
It's
a
not
lot more than just music as a way to contribute to hip hop,
Right.
which is kind of what we're talking about.
They're very passionate about their films. So anyways, with that note, I don't know. I think we're pretty much going in circles. We should probably just get off now.
I think we all, we're kind of in agreement. It is a really, it is a complicated subject, and there's a lot of gray areas, and there's a lot of different kind of aspects of it.
Right.
But yeah,
the importance is that you're opening up the conversation for it.
right. And as you said before, like, leave comments, let us know what you think. Be really interesting to see what everyone else's opinion on this is.
Yeah. Also,
you know.
Freshman and I argue often, and that's just how we are. So don't sit there and think we don't talk to each other, because I'm probably going to call him when I get off this.
Yeah. And if the rest of us look like blank, it's just because we're going, right, here they go again. And we just kind of zone out and let them kind of get it.
It depends. I can argue with Maria pretty aggressively too, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with us to the end. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. All the descriptions are below. If you've got any ideas of any content, any subjects that you want us to cover, let us know in the comments. Send us an email. Hit us up on Twitter or IG. And until next time.
Peace.
See ya.
Okay.